Right, and so today we've got another update about the Into the Light weapons. I feel like Bungie have offered some kind of update about these every day since they announced them at this point, but one of the big downsides in the community about the Into the Light weapons was Bungie's choice to sort of timegate them, and today they've gone ahead and done a partial U-turn on that. I say partial because there is still a time-gated component, but all of the weapons will be available a bit sooner than Bungie had originally outlined. So they've said we've got updates on the rollout of the Brave Arsenal starting April 9th, plus some important callouts to highlight just how much loot you'll be swimming in during Into the Light. And first up, we've seen the feedback on releasing an additional weapon each week after the first 6 drop on April 9th, and we're condensing the schedule to release everything by April 30th rather than May 21st. And so I think that overall is a positive, and all of the weapons for Into the Light, or the limited edition variants of them, will have become available by the end of April, which is in the first month of the update, as opposed to an entire month later. So there's still an element of them being sort of time locked, but according to the new plan, they will be available much sooner than they would have originally. So I think that's totally an improvement. They go on to say though, we still think it's important to have fresh rewards to look forward to in the first few weeks, and we want to pack the first half of Into the Light in before we introduce more playable content in the second half. And so that's sort of an interesting tease there. Looking at the content we're going to get, we've got the Onslaught game mode initially, but also Bungie have confirmed the return of 2 classic exotic missions and a new PvE challenge they call Pantheon. On top of that though, we are getting the 3 new PvP maps which are dropping in May, but it sounds like Pantheon, or indeed one of the 2 exotic missions, will be added into the game after the first few weeks as opposed to being immediately available. So there's still very much a rollout schedule there, but back to the weapons, they say let's talk about guaranteed limited edition variants and weapon drop rates. By completing our side's quests, you're guaranteed to get a curated limited edition variant of each weapon, and the team has picked some hot perk combos for these, and they all come with unique shiny visuals. So even if you don't have a lot of time, you'll be able to walk out of Into the Light with a limited edition variant of all 12 Brave weapons with an excellent roll, and over a month to complete these straightforward quests. But earning your own limited edition god roll is meant to be very exclusive, and that should require some effort, which is why we wanted to make sure everyone can get at least one awesome limited edition variant of each weapon through the quests. Outside of that though, they say the weapon drop rates during Into the Light will be among our highest in Destiny's history, even harking back to the days of Season of Opulence. And they point out that by attuning to a specific weapon will greatly increase the chances of it dropping from Onslaught chests, and we'll be opening a lot of chests depending on how long we last, so we can expect to earn several drops of the same weapon in a single session, especially on 50 wave runs. And separately, we should highlight Chris Proctor had said, when we attune to a weapon, that pretty much means that the weapon we've attuned to will take up 50% of the loot pool, with the other 50% dedicated to all of the other weapons in the update. So if we're attuned to Recluse, for example, based on what Bungie is saying here, we're going to get a significant number of drops of that weapon. And also they say you can use the weapon chest near shacks in the Hall of Champions to get more weapons using trophies of bravery, and these trophies will drop game-wide across core rituals, seasonal activities, raids, dungeons, Dares of Eternity, lost sectors, and more. So you're always earning progress towards more weapons as you play, and these even drop from Onslaught chests, so you'll be able to grab a few more rolls after every Onslaught session. So overall, it's a positive. By the end of April, which is only, 3 weeks after the Into the Light update drops, all of the weapons will have become available. That includes as random drops, but also as our side's quests, which give the limited edition guaranteed drops. And alongside the attunement component, again, we're going to be able to pick up a significant number of these. And so presumably in the first couple of weeks, the first 6 weapons will really be the focus. And then beyond April 30th, we'll have a little over a month before the Varna Shape drops, where all of the weapons for Into the Light are available, including with the buffs. But Destiny 2 team finished by saying all 12 of the base Brave weapons can still be farmed after Into the Light concludes, and we'll be moving Onslaught over to a dedicated node in Vanguard Ops with the launch of the final shape, at which point you'll also be able to enhance perks on all of the weapons. So I think overall that is a positive response from Bungie. There are still some complaints about the time-gating component existing in the first place, and I definitely understand that. I certainly think that Bungie's original plan limited the availability of some of the weapons a little bit too much, and while the scheduling component is still there, I think having the first couple of weeks be focused on the first 6 weapons, and then the rest of the Into the Light update being able to drop all of the weapons, does actually give us plenty of time to pick them up, including plenty of time to focus on getting god rolls and limited edition versions of each of the weapons we want. So let us know what you think down below. I think this is a solid improvement on the original plan at least. Perhaps Bungie even anticipated that there would be negative feedback about this, which is why they've got to a solution so quickly. Pretty difficult to say, but share your thoughts in the comment section. If you found the quick update video useful, a rating below helps us out on the channel no end. And also be sure to get subscribed if you want to be kept up to date with more Destiny content. Otherwise though, thank you for tuning in, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.
Yeah. See, we're getting, again, I think, obviously, Tom is here in the heat of battle, so to speak, but the origin trait, we just got another question about, actually. So for the folks at home, it's Indomitability, or?
Yes.
Thank you, all right. And that one, can you, again, walk through that origin trait for us one more time?
Yeah, so on Final Blows, it grants you grenade energy if you're running a light subclass.
Oh, here we go, we got it on screen.
Yeah, there we go. So yeah, which would be Arc Void or Solo, or melee energy if you're running a Darkness subclass, which would be Stasis or Strand.
Got it. Okay, so I can go in there as a stasis main and just throw all the shurikens I possibly have. Yeah, there's a more technical thing for that. I'm sorry, I got it wrong out of the gate. All right, let's see here. And also, too, actually, we talked kind of at the beginning about what it was like to sort of pare down this list of weapons down to 12. Can you tell us a little bit about that process? I can't imagine it was anywhere near as simple.
12 was a really small number when you're looking at that set of weapons. And if we'd gone by lists on the internet or even internally, could easily have ended up being half hand cannons. We had to restrict ourselves to 2.
Fair.
There were a lot that could easily have made the cut that we just couldn't fit them in.
That's fair. I mean, honestly, though, between Midnight Coup and Luna's Howl, like a very, very solid cast to go ahead and come out of the gate here with.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really strong. And we definitely wanted to get that spread of experience across the first few years of Destiny 2 as well.
Yeah, honestly. And also, too, is even, recalling all the way back to the Black Armory. That's, I think, a set of weapons that so many of us think back to so fondly. Again, I think one of the goals here was to go ahead and retain that original feel. You guys went ahead and added in a bunch of new perks. Can you tell us what that process was like in terms of making sure those perks matched up with that feel of the weapon?
Yeah, and in cases where we have multiple weapons in the same archetype shipping, so we've got 2 pulse rifles, 2 hand cannons, we assigned those to different designers and made sure that the roles that they occupy in the sandbox were sufficiently different. We also would look at the most popular roles that the weapons had originally and make sure that those still appear on the weapons. It meant having to redesign some perks, which would be too strong in today's sandbox.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But yeah, and then introducing, when you go and you look at a blast bonus in your vault or something, you're like, man, I wish I could roll X perk that came out after that, right? And made sure we put a few of those in there as well.
Yeah, and there's also, I'm not sure if we've seen it on screen yet, but there's a new perk that'll be joining this pool as well, won't there?
Yeah, there is. There's in this build, it's called Last Stand. The shipping name is different. Yeah, so weapon final blows grant bonus damage. Melee and grenade final blows grant a larger damage bonus that can stack. So once you get this perk really rolling, it's very strong.
Yeah.
Sustain it.
Nice way to go ahead and clear out a bunch of red bars and then take down that yellow bar with ease if you go ahead and do everything correctly.